Hello and welcome back to another video on the WrestleMania, and we've had the first WWE show of WrestleMania weekend, NXT Stand And Deliver, and it's a really good show, so let's get straight into the results, starting off on the kickoff show, where Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai defeated Toxic Attraction to become the tag team women's champions, and I was really surprised by this, from reuniting to becoming champions in the week. It's all been a bit of a whirlwind, and I am kind of interested to see where this goes in a long time before making a judgment, but this is definitely an interesting move. But let's get straight into the main card now. With the ladder match for the North American title, Grimes had the early advantage before Waller got some bug moves in and took out Solo to the help of Sanga. Solo set up a ladder in the corner with Waller under it and tossed Hayes on top of the pile. Then he topped it off with another ladder, and then Santos Escobar hit a massive splash. Grimes managed to take Solo down on the middle of the ring before Melo tossed the ladder at him. Escobar came back into the ring and sending Grimes into the corner, hitting him with another ladder. Waller then got a stunner and took out Escobar before he and Melo fought over the ladder in the ring. Solo stopped Melo from climbing and got a super kick before climbing the ladder, but Escobar got up there as well and dropped Sikoa on top of the ladder and onto another ladder with a powerbomb. Grimes and Escobar then took each other out before Trick came in and set up in the ring. Sanga then ran in and with him and tore the ladder before Lopez and Legado attacked the big guy with ladders before Electra hit a dive on Melo on the outside. Sanga and Legado were brawling at ringside, and Sanga got sandwiched on top between the ladders before Sikoa wiped Wild and Mendoza out. Sikoa climbed to the top again, but Escobar followed him up and Trick dropped the ladder down. Williams got up the ladder himself and Grimes came up and tipped it over, dropping Trick outside. Grimes and Waller both tried to take the title but failed when Sikoa was laid out on the ladder, bridged between the apron and the barricade. Waller then got on top of the ladder and tried for the elbow drop. Melo threw the ladder, but Hayes escaped right on time. Escobar then had a phantom drive on Melo, but Grimes came in with a cave-in and took Santos Escobar out before retrieving the title. And this gets an 8 out of 10 from me. This was a really good ladder match, and with the whole Cameron Grimes story over the last few weeks, definitely the right result in my opinion. So this was really good stuff. Just what you want from a ladder match and the right result. What more could you want to kick off the show? Ciampa versus D'Angelo was up next, and D'Angelo got the first takedown and sent Ciampa into the mat, kicking him down into the corner. Ciampa turned it around and unloaded with kicks on his own before getting a few big strikes ahead. Ciampa took Tony outside and sent him into the ring stage before hitting one big knee. Ciampa then ripped off the padding from the floor at ringside and exposed the concrete before heading to the ring. D'Angelo took back control and hit Ciampa with a big suplex for a near fall, and Ciampa went down for a couple more near falls before hitting him back and destroying Tony with a few shots in the corner, hitting a massive knee strike. Tony then retrieved the crowbar from the corner but failed to hit Ciampa with it. D'Angelo got a low blow before hitting the crowbar again, but Ciampa hit the Willow's Bell on a fairy tale ending for a near fall. They headed outside again and Tony managed to hit a DDT on the exposed concrete before picking up the win. After the match, Ciampa got a big reaction and Triple H came out and hugged him. So definitely seems like a goodbye for Ciampa, and it was just brilliant to see Triple H again on WWE TV. So good. But for the match itself, just perfect. The concrete bit on the outside, just a perfect recall. That really worked. Also linking back to the Gargano matches and just a whole thank you Ciampa, and in terms of all of that was really good. Gets a 7 out of 10 for me overall. Plus, not to mention the fact that we made a new star in Tony D'Angelo. Next up was Imperium versus Creed Brothers versus MSK for the tag belts. Brutus, Martel and Lee kicked off the match and MSK was in control early on. Bartel got some big moves and hit a top elbow drop before making some tags to Wagner. Carter and Lee then hit the Swanton Bomb corkscrew pancake combo before getting near full. Julius then hit a dive from the top rope on top of the others, taking them all out. Brutus then hit a dive on MSK and Eichner on the outside before the top ropes before tagging Julius in. Eichner stopped the pin and Imperium wiped out the Creeds on the outside before heading back into the ring. Imperium tried to hit their finisher on Carter, but MSK turned it around and Nash hit powerbomb on Bartel for the victory. Did not see an MSK win coming at all, really. But yes, gets 7 out of 10 from me. Really solid match, and I'm a big fan of MSK, so please see with them belts again. Before Cameron Grimes was very emotional backstage and cut a promo before we moved on. Joe Gacy also cut a promo, but that's besides the point. Then we got Mandy Rhodes defending her women's championship against Jade Shirai and Cody Ray. The 3 challenges went after Rose right away. Rose dragged Jade outside before Cody Ray and Io took them out with dives in the ring. Rose and Io were brawling at ringside while Jade and Ray fought inside. Back in the ring, Ray and Shirai were basing each other up before Rose came back. Jade tried to attack the champ, but was laid up with a spine buster. Then Jade hit Rose with a knee strike before getting near full. Ray then got the KLR bomb on Jade before going for the top, but Io pushed her off and hit a moonsault. Rose then hit Io with a running knee before picking up the victory. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really good match, and Rose retaining for now I think is the right decision, but it's an interesting dynamic now. They don't have the tag team titles, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works, but I'm intrigued to see what happens. Sierra and Index were then having a cowboy dress-up competition in Texas, and Index came out when Duke was furious and said that he was better than Dexter before they started brawling backstage. I mean, like, this was just bloody stupid. Couldn't you think of anything better for them to do? Before we got Gunther versus LA Knight, the match went outside early on, and Knight was hitting a big powerbomb on the apron. Back in the ring, Knight was taking a massive beating as Gunther laid down uppercuts and chops, focusing on Knight's lower back. Knight then hit back with a boot, and then came back with a diving tackle before stomping him in the corner. Knight took Gunther down with an elbow drop before taking him to the top rope, but the move was denied. Knight tried for a second time and got a near fall. Gunther then knocked in a sleeper hold before Gunther took him down and hit him with a dive. Knight counters it with a burning hammer for a near fall before going to the top, but Gunther dodged the move. Gunther took out Knight with a high-flying splash before picking up the victory. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. It's a decent match. Maybe I kind of expected a little bit more, but you know, for what it was, a decent match. Putting a Gunther over, and now he's kind of an established NXT star. So yeah, that's good stuff. Dolph Ziggler versus Bron Breakker was out next. Bron Breakker was out with his chainsaw and sliced the X from NXT logo on the ramp before making his way. Dolph went for a cheap shot before the bell, and Bron tried to take him out before the match started. After the bell, Bron was in control and Dolph retreated outside before heading, but only to take up a pop-up spear. Rude tried to interfere and Bron chased him as he ran backstage. Bron gave up the chase and got back in the ring for the count. Ziggler was in control and dropped Bron on the ropes before locking in a headlock. Breakker got a Rana from the top rope off a counter before getting a spear for a near fall. Bron got one more near fall, but Rude dragged Ziggler out for the ring. Bron then hit a dive and took out Rude and Ziggler before sending Rude into the steps. Back in the ring, Ziggler got the famous running zigzag for a near fall, but Breakker came back with some big moves. Bron lifted Ziggler for the finisher, but Dolph jabbed him in the eye and hit a super kick for the win. And the show went off with Dolph Ziggler as NXT champion, which I did not see coming. And yes, surely it suggests Bron Breakker is main roster bound, but yeah, I mean, like, I just felt he needed to win that match. Having 2 losses to Dolph Ziggler, I mean, like, yeah, for such a big star like Breakker, I kind of feel like he did need to win. But you know, the match was decent enough, but for that reason, I can only give it really a 6 out of 10 max. Overall, NXT Stand And Deliver 2022 gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, overall I thought it was a decent enough show. I wasn't a big fan of the main event, but you know, except for that, there was lots of decent matches across the card. I think NXT broke some things interestingly, but mostly correct. A lot of matches with a banger to kick off the show. We had several other decent matches over the show, so yeah, on the whole, pretty solid. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thoughts, comments down below. Follow us in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel, screen right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.